One day, on Uduak's way to the market, she fainted. She had to be rushed to a nearby clinic, and upon consultation with the medicine man, his discovery is that she is with child. Her joy knew no bound, and she hurried home to break the news to her husband. Once upon a time, in a community, there lived people whose means of livelihood were farming, fishing, hunting, and they mostly worked with the trade by barter system. In the community, in order to be considered wealthy, you should have a vast of land or livestock in which you could trade with. There lived a man called Akpan. He had a lovely wife called Uduak and a son called Okon. They have a vast of land and are known round for their wealthy status. But Akpan had just a child, which people refer to him as a one-eyed man because he had just a son, and if anything happens to him, it means he is blind. He has tried with his wife for many years to have a child before they had Okon, and are still trying to have more children. Akpan, anywhere he went, will always be mocked because of his situation, and people advised him to get a second wife, but because of his love for Uduak, he could not do it. Uduak is a soft, well-spoken woman, admired by many, though her fellow women mocked her for not having more children and would gossip about her to her hearing anytime she walked by or goes to the market to purchase food items. This would make Uduak cry so much and would pray to the gods to make a way for her family. Their only son, Okon, was a bright and handsome boy who is compassionate and strong in his dealings. He was a good hunter and most times after school would go into the forest to hunt as he has come of age. Akpan and Uduak were getting old so fast, but still hoped on the gods to make a way and bless them with a child. One day, on Uduak's way to the market, she fainted. She had to be rushed to a nearby clinic, and upon consultation with the medicine man, his discovery is that she is with child. Her joy knew no bound, and she hurried home to break the news to her husband, who was equally happy. They rushed to get some meat and drink to celebrate with. News of her being pregnant went round the village, and people trooped in to celebrate with them. Some even sent gifts for their unborn child to show how happy they are for them. They were no longer mocked again. The husband would always buy gifts on his way home, and they both looked forward to having their new child. Okon, their son, was so happy and was eagerly waiting for his little brother or sister. He has started buying gifts for them already. Time for their little bundle of joy to arrive was getting close, and they were already making preparations to welcome the new child. One certain day, just after dark, Uduak went into labor, and Okon went to get the midwife. The midwife was with the mother, and in no time, the cry of a baby could be heard from the hut. Akpan's heart was filled with joy, and not so long, Uduak screamed again, and they wondered what was happening, and a second cry of a baby was heard. Akpan went from smiling to frowning, as he knows what that implies. he went in to see his wife crying, and he merely looked at the children without touching them. In that certain community, twins were considered an abomination, and the family who had such children were to be ostracized, and no one should have any discussion with them, else they will face equal punishment with them. Okon's parents were always sad, but he was so happy to have a little brother and sister at the same time. Okon would talk to his mom and tell her to stop crying, that aren't their children, that they are answered prayers, and his mom will tell him that he doesn't know what he is saying and that he should leave her alone. A day was picked for the ritual to be performed, and a few people with the traditionalist cleansed the family, and the babies were dropped in the evil forest. They left for their homes, and that is when it dawned on them that the gifts that they prayed for have left their hands. For days, Okon was nowhere to be found, and they wondered if they have lost their only son. One day, Okon came back and beckoned on his mother to please accompany him. Uduak followed him, and since she came back, she has been her happy, cheerful self again. Her husband noticed how she was smiling, unlike her usual gloomy self, and wondered if she was all right. Akpan noticed the absence of his son, and sometimes his wife would come home so late and would say she went visiting her friend or her mother. One day she came back late and lied she went to see her friend. Meanwhile, that friend of hers left not so long ago, stating she came looking for her friend. The husband decided to get to the bottom of this. He secretly followed the wife one day and followed her to a hut, only to hear the cry of babies. He rushed in, hoping it wasn't what he was thinking, only to find his missing son with the twins in his arms. He asked what was going on, and do they know the problem they have caused? Facing his son, he said, "So this is where you have been." And to his wife, "So this is your friend you go to visit all the time." She begged him, and he asked the son how he knew about the ritual. He replied saying he heard the conversation he was having about how they were going to throw the babies into the evil forest, as that is where they belong. This made him so sad, and he thought of how to save his siblings, as he could not lose them. So he went in search of a place where he could live and raise his siblings all by himself. That he tried feeding them, and they rejected the food, and so he had to get his mom to feed them, and had to make her see reasons why the children are a gift and not a curse, even though mom refused feeding them. But she later saw reasons with me and decided not to let her children die of starvation. Uduak told her son, "Thank you for being brave and doing what I and your father did not have the courage to do." Uduak apologized to her husband and told him that she wondered how she would keep the secret from him. She said children are a gift and not a curse. She gave him his children to carry and said if he wants to report them, he can go ahead, that he will then lose his whole family because of a silly tradition. The husband told them to prepare, that they will leave this village and start somewhere afresh, that children are indeed a blessing, that if one child is a blessing, then two are double blessings. They set off out of the village to start afresh in another community, leaving everything they owned behind. The end. The lesson of this story is children are a gift from God and we should appreciate and cherish them. Always trust your instincts and follow your heart. No one has the right to dictate what is a blessing or a curse. Always be kind with your words and actions towards people because you do not know what they are going through. Thank you so much for watching our story. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as it helps us grow. Turn on the post notifications so you'll be the first to know when we drop a new story. Like, share, and leave a comment. And I will see you in my next video. Till then, bye.